Hey guys, welcome back to the kitchen. Today is Valentine's Day, so yes, I'm going to show you something bright pink. Normally I'm not really a fan of kind of the tackier side of Valentine's Day. I don't like things covered in hearts or things that are really obvious, but this just happens to be pink. It's a blood orange cake. There's no colouring, there's no any added extras. It's just a really beautiful, delicious cake that happens to be bright pink. So if you want something that fits Valentine's Day, this is perfect. For the recipe, all you're going to need is unsalted butter, caster sugar, blood oranges and eggs. And then interestingly, you're also going to need double cream. This is based on a French lemon pound cake, so it uses cream as well as butter. And then of course it has plain flour and some baking powder plus a little bit of salt. Now, quickly need to talk about blood oranges because we need to use a certain variety. You don't have to. You can actually just use this with normal oranges or any blood oranges you can find, but I prefer to use the Moro variety purely because the colour of these tends to be darker, and for that really beautiful vibrant glaze, the Moro variety will give you a better colour. So all we're going to do is, it's kind of a really classic creaming method. So we're going to take our unsalted butter and add that to our mixer along with the caster sugar, and then we're going to take our blood oranges and we're going to zest 3 of them into that mixture. And then we're just going to cream that together for about 5 minutes until it's really light and fluffy. And I mean properly light and fluffy. The butter that you have to start with should be really nice and soft, and then we're going to let it go for a full 5 minutes until it's really light. Okay, now that's really light and fluffy, we can add our eggs. Now this recipe uses 3 large eggs. Now I don't keep my eggs in the fridge, I keep them at room temperature. But if it's really cold like it is today and your eggs are a little bit on the cold side, adding them to our nice room temperature butter mixture can make it curdle. So if you're slightly worried about that, or you do keep your eggs in the fridge and you haven't brought them out to bring them to room temperature quick enough, then what you can do is put them in a bowl of really warm water, leave them for 10 minutes, and that'll bring the internal temperature up to a nice room temperature. Add those a little bit at a time, just mixing until that's fully combined. And then we can take our flour mixture and then just add that to our butter mixture, and then just on really slow speed, or even off the mixture with a spatula, just mix that together until it's just come together. And then we can take our cream, pour that in, and then simply mix that again together, just very, very briefly until it's come together. So now that our mixture is made, we need to add it to our tin. So I'm using a loaf pan that has been greased and lined with a strip of paper. Now you can see it's got these little edges, and that's so when the cake is baked we can simply lift the cake out, and it's just much easier. There's no kind of turning the cake upside down, it's just more delicate and it won't damage the top of the cake. So scrape that in, and now I'm going to show you a really simple little trick, and that is how to get the perfect division of the cake down the middle. So with a cake like this, with like a butter cake or a pound cake, the cake in a loaf tin will split as it bakes, and that's just part of the process. That's just what happens. But sometimes, depending on how you've made it, depending on how you put it in the tin, it can form in different positions, so at the side or squiggly. But if you're trying to be a little perfect, and I'm annoying, so I like things to look perfectly, you can do something that helps it form nicely down the middle, nice and straight, so you get that perfect looking loaf cake. And all you're going to do is take a little extra butter, just even a small piece like that, and you're going to put it inside a disposable piping bag. So just take a disposable piping bag and take your piece of butter, just add it to the bag. And this butter can even be cold, it really doesn't matter, because all you're going to do is then mash it with your hand until it's really soft. This is why you do it in here, so you don't get any on your hands. Just really squish it. And then all you're going to do is take a pair of scissors and then snip off the end, just a really small cut. And then you're going to take it and just pipe a thin line all the way down the middle of the cake, so that when it bakes, what will happen is that butter will immediately melt. And what it does is, where that butter's melted, it will then split at that point. So you just get a really, really nice looking cake. You don't have to do it. It's just for people like me who are really annoying and want their baking to look perfect. But you have my complete permission to ignore that and just shove it in the oven. So That's now going to go in the oven for about an hour, about 50-55 minutes, just until a skewer inserted into the middle will come out clean. So whilst the cake is in the oven, we can make two other elements. One of them is a simple syrup, literally a simple syrup, made with blood orange juice and sugar, and all you're going to do is take equal parts of the juice and caster sugar and basically bring those to a boil, let the sugar dissolve, and then let it reduce just a little bit until it's ever so slightly syrupy, and then take that off the heat. And what we're going to do when that cake comes out the oven, we're going to leave it for about 10 minutes in the tin and then remove it and put it on a wire rack. And then taking a skewer, poke holes all over it, going down into the middle of the cake, and then brush that syrup liberally all over the cake. That adds more blood orange flavour, it adds more moistness to the cake, and it just makes it so delicious. For the second element, which is our decoration really, we're going to add a really simple glaze. And for that, what we're going to do again is take some blood orange juice and then mix that this time with some icing sugar and a little pinch of salt until it's a nice thick mixture. And basically the reason we add the salt is it just helps this mixture from being too sweet, because we don't want real heavy sweetness. And then when the cake is cooled, we'll pour that all over, let it drip down the sides and leave it until it's set. And then the final thing is we're going to take some blood orange segments. We're going to supreme these oranges to get really nice beautiful segments, and we're going to decorate the top of the cake with some of those and some flaked almonds that we've just lightly toasted in a drying frying pan for a couple of minutes, just until they're nice and lightly browned. So to supreme an orange, it's not a difficult thing. So all we're going to do is slice the ends of the oranges off just until you can't see any white, so you can see clearly through to the orange, and then just cut down in a kind of half moon shape, following the edge of the pith, so you're just cutting that pith off. So you're left with a nice beautiful orange with no pith on it. All you're going to do is take the knife and insert it between the membranes, just cutting down into the middle until you are able to remove beautiful little segments like that. And all we're going to do is when the cake is cool and the glaze has set, which will take about half an hour or so, then just scatter those over the top with the almonds. It's a really simple recipe, but it looks really impressive, and it's a perfect Valentine's Day cake. As always, if you want the full recipe, it is in the corner, so make sure you go and click through to my website to get the full written recipe. I'm going to try and post recipes as often as I can. I've posted this month in total, I think it will be 6 recipes and another vlog as well. Next month I've got some more recipes coming for you and a whole bunch of vlogs from the America trip, so please make sure that you're subscribed, click on that notification bell to be the first to find out when the new recipes go live, and leave me a comment down below if there's a recipe you want to see in an upcoming video. Until then, I will see you next time.